If you play CSGO or Valorant and you wanna play competitively, this video is gonna be the right one for you. I will show you 3 different PC builds for 3 different budgets, the most expensive one being the best one in terms of performance, but of course if you have a lower budget, you will want a PC that's cheaper. Just so you know, this PC will allow you to play Valorant and CSGO at above 360 FPS on average, so if you want the highest 360Hz monitor, feel free to buy one. And even though having a really high refresh rate will not give you more skills, it will allow you to reach your full potential. And if you came to this video and you also play a game like Fortnite and you want to play those type of games competitive as well, don't worry, because I will explain what each of these PCs are capable of running and the estimated FPS. Trust me, even for Fortnite, these systems will achieve really high FPS. All the links to these PCs will be down below in the video description. That being said, let's start. So with the first PC, we have the best one on this list and most expensive one. This one has the AMD Ryzen 5 7600X for the CPU. Right now going for $200 is on a huge discount, so if you see it at $300 or so, I do not recommend you buying this one. I would buy the Ryzen 5 7600 instead of the 7600X, but I do recommend you checking the latest prices for both CPUs to see which one is cheaper. Right now it's the 7600X and it's gonna give you even better performance than the 7600. Fortnite, Valorant and CSGO, all of these games are more CPU demanding than GPU, so we are prioritizing our CPU power over the GPU one, but of course we need a capable GPU to play these titles, and that's why for this system we have the AMD Radeon RX 6650 XT. This one has 8 gigs of VRAM, which will be way more than enough for these titles, and trust me when I say Valorant and CSGO on ultra settings at 1080p you will be able to achieve more than 360 FPS on average, and at 1440p resolution you will be achieving more than 240, so if you wanna step up your resolution to 1440p you can still buy the highest refresh rate 1440p monitor, and this PC will not have any bottleneck. In a game like Fortnite at 1080p, competitive settings, 300 plus FPS will be the average, and you will be reaching more than 360 FPS most of the time, but it really depends on the situation and location as well. Then for the motherboard we have the Gigabyte B650MK. This one is a micro ATX motherboard. Honestly, nothing too special, but it's gonna get the job done for our build, and because you get the AM5 platform, you will be able to upgrade the CPU down the line to a newer AMD one without having to upgrade your whole motherboard. If you don't know anything about computers, if you want to go with Intel and you want to upgrade the CPU down the line, you will need to buy a new motherboard. But because we have the AM5 platform, you don't need to. For the memory kit, we have the Patriot Viper 16 gigs of RAM kit. This is 2x8 of DDR5 memory at 5200 MHz CL36. If you are new to PCs, don't worry, this is a really good kit and it's going to get the job done. For the storage, we have the Team Group MP33 1TB of Gen 3 SSD, enough storage for Fortnite, Valorant and CSGO, and also for more titles. Then for the case we have the MSI MagForge 100M. I absolutely love how this case looks. It has that front mesh panel, good airflow for this type of build. If you don't like the aesthetics of this one, I will leave an alternative in the video description. That's micro ATX, so it matches with the motherboard. That's really not necessary. Then for the power supply we have the PPR Prestige 600 watt 80 plus gold power supply going for $52. Finally a power supply that's not super expensive, because the power supply market has been expensive, but for $52 you're getting a C-tier rated power supply, really good quality for this type of build, and you do not need anything more than this. The total price for this PC is $765, so not the cheapest one, especially when it comes to playing games like Fortnite, Valorant and CSGO, but in my opinion is the perfect PC that you can get in terms of value if you want to achieve really high FPS and compete in any of these titles. Also, for other games at 1080p, you can run basically every single game at 60 plus FPS on average on ultra settings, which is really nice at this price point. Now, if you have a lower budget, I recommend you going with the AMD Ryzen 5 5600 from the AM4 platform, and then you get 32 gigs of RAM, which is more than 16 gigs from the other system, so you're getting a worse CPU, more RAM, and the total price of this system is $668. So almost $100 less, and in terms of performance, you will be able to achieve 300 plus FPS in Valorant, Fortnite and CSGO, so you will be able to compete even with this system It's just not gonna be as good as the Ryzen 5 7600X, but honestly, if you are working with a really tight budget, this PC will be enough for a 240Hz monitor. And then if you even have a lower budget, I recommend you downgrading the RAM to 16 gigs of DDR4 memory and then downgrading the GPU to the RX 6600. The total price for this one is $625 by the time that I'm recording this video, and once again, you will be able to achieve more than 240 FPS on average in Valorant and CSGO, and for Fortnite 200 plus FPS will be achievable, so you can really play competitive even with this system being the cheapest one, and you will be able to run every single game at 1080p 60 plus FPS on average on high settings. So yes, even if you want to play other titles, you are not gonna be bottlenecked, but in my opinion, the best one for esports titles is the first one I've shown you, especially because of the Ryzen 5 7600X. In terms of the monitor, if you're gonna get the best PC on this video, I do recommend you buying a 360Hz 1080p monitor like the Alienware AW2523HF. This one is a 24.5 inch 1080p monitor with the highest refresh rate available for $375. It's on a discount right now and is the cheapest one I found because 360Hz monitors are quite expensive. So this one has a decent price. Of course, $375 is not cheap, but it's a decent price, especially compared to other monitors with the same refresh rate. And then if you want a cheaper monitor for this system or just for any of the PCs I've mentioned, I recommend you buying the AOC C27 27-inch 1080p 240Hz monitor. This one is curved and honestly for $200, really good monitor, and 240Hz, which is still more than enough to compete on these type of games. Once again, there are 240Hz monitors that are more expensive out there. I will leave you some alternatives in the video description because not everyone has the same budget, but my personal recommendation if you want the best of the best for these type of games is getting the 360Hz monitor and the PC with the Ryzen 5 7600X. But once again, it really depends on how much money you got to spend on a gaming system. And if you want a private PC instead, because maybe you just don't want to build it yourself, and that's completely understandable, you will have my video about the best budget private PCs in the top right of the screen. You will find systems there that are also capable of 360 plus FPS on average in these type of titles. And the pro on those PCs is that you don't have to build it yourself, you just plug and play. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support. If you have any questions, let me know down below and I will see you on the next one.